This is the last of 5 batches of what I call cents covers, the cents values, the low values. And I've shown the 5 centavos singles, 5 centavos multiples, 10 centavos Rivadavia red, all the other ones. And then now the theme of this one is the 10 centavo Rivadavia brown. Now I didn't order these, but we're going to look at them carefully, so it doesn't really matter. I was going to show the difference between the type A and the type B, but there are none in this selection. I had to go looking, and apparently they're rare. And in the lot of covers that I have, the 700 or so covers that I'll be running through that are not mounted, I found these two that are type B. So let's see if we can put them together and do like a little grid. There we go. That's enough. No, not that one, and not that one. Hold on. Sorry, I should have done this off camera before I showed them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay, we have enough. So these are the type. Yeah. All right, so this one is type A, and these two are type B. So maybe I'll just do a pair. Let me zoom in. It's a little unrehearsed. I'm sorry, I should have done this off camera before I showed it to you. Okay, so these are the two types. Let's do them. All right, so if you look at this right here on his lapel, there is no dot. If you look at the lapel right here, there is a dot. Sometimes it is more pronounced, but in these it is not that pronounced. So I'm going to zoom a little more, and then we're going to look at it again. Okay, so that is type A, and apparently this type with the dot on the lapel is very rare on cover, I'm finding today, because I went looking, and through the entire lot, I think I found 4 or 5. And of course, some of them, the postmark was too close, so I didn't want to show the postmark too close. But yeah, there you have it. That one is a type A, which is the most common, apparently. And then type B, which came out much later. This is like a 1954 use. And these two were in use at the same time in the 1950s. But once you get back to the 40s and the 30s, and 1939, I should say, all the 1940s is really this type. Okay, so I'll move that cover off camera, and I'll move the other cover off camera that was type B, and we'll just concentrate on these covers. And I'll go one by one. They're not ordered by year, but it should be fun either way. This one is to Switzerland from 1948, from after the war. These covers tend to not have anything on the back. Then this one is a little tatty, but censorship cover sent to the U.S. with 3 of the 10 centavos. And this one is clay. This stamp is clay. I can tell just by how bright it is in comparison to the paper. Then this one is these two are typographed, the 5 centavos, and the 10 centavos is clay, the early one, the 1939, 1940, which in Argentina they call it satinado, which is not common on cover. Now this one is, and that was censorship, that had a censorship marking, so does this one. So it kind of time bends it to the late 1940s, early 1940s. But that one is not clay. The 5 centavos is. I think you can tell by looking at them how bright white that is. So that's clay, that's not clay. And let's flip it over because it's going to tell us who the examiner was, and it's U.S. censorship. This is another one with the 10 centavos clay from early in the war, and it's from 1940. And normally that would have been a 20 centavo stamp. That's the reason why the 10 centavos brown, I find that to be rare, at least in the covers that I have at my disposal, because there was always some other stamp that it could have been used for the rate. Unlike previously when the main single letter rate was 10 centavos, it went down to 5. When it went down to 5, the colors on the stamp was changed at the same time, and I think it was left high and dry. as far as getting a lot of use. It's a shame that the Examiner decided to cover the block of 4, and it's to Portugal, Lisbon, marking on the back. Oh wait, no, it's not to Portugal. What am I talking about? It's to Sweden, but the airplane stopped in Portugal. That's what I should have said. I'm glad I caught it, because I'm looking, the way that I look at the camera, sometimes I don't look at the cover as much. I'm just looking at the details of how I'm aiming the camera at this thing, my phone. This is a beautiful dark clay stamp. There are these shades later on in the 50s, 1951, where the stamp is almost black. They're not that common. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, everything in this stamp is common, but relatively they're not as common. This one's to the U.S. From 1951. This one is to the U.S. from 1949. I don't know what that marking means. Help with the formation of 5,000 Argentinian pilots. A very common slogan. Of course, you're going to see in these videos where I show loose covers, many large format envelopes that I never mounted because I could only mount the small covers on the pages. All right, so this is a clay 5 centavos, clay 10 centavos, 1940 something. It's hard to tell what the number is, but I would venture to say that it's like 46. I don't know. That's a good one. I cannot tell. Moving on. And let's take this thing out of this envelope. Yeah, so this one, I don't know why it's got 2 1 centavo stamps. It doesn't make any sense. For 32 cents, I haven't seen that rate anywhere. To England, with the 20 centavos commemorative. The 10 centavos is clay, and nice commercial use. Okay, so we'll go to the last envelope. And this one is a World War II censorship cover to Washington, D.C., National Press Building. And it's got, the 10 centavos are not clay. And it looks like it's 1942, and there's the Examiner.